Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some information coming out from Russia to share with you. We have a report to go over that the Russian authorities are going to be offering $22,000 or 1.9 million rubles in compensation for new recruits that join the military. This is obviously to go fight in Ukraine. And this is big news because we've heard lots of reports that the Russians are losing lots of soldiers. Okay, we don't know the exact number, obviously, of how many soldiers are being lost in Ukraine, but there's been lots of speculation and talk that they may have lost over 500,000 soldiers in Ukraine. Who knows how many they actually lost? We have no idea. But this could be a sign of a couple things. I was thinking this could definitely mean that either they're running out of soldiers or they're trying to incentivize troops to join by offering a large sum of money to maybe make a final push into Ukraine is maybe what I was thinking as well, because we know that this war is coming to an end very soon. At least it appears that way. We even had a report come out today from Vladimir Zelensky. He said once again in an interview that they need to end this war as quickly as possible. And we've got some reports to go over here in just a minute too that Dmytro Kuleba, I think is his name, the foreign minister of Ukraine, is visiting in China right now, trying to work with China to convince Russia to come to the drawing table and negotiate with them, and so that way they can end this war here very soon, because there's a big possibility potentially in the near future that Donald Trump could get into the White House, and if he does, he will end this war in Ukraine. He's already said that he would, so I'm sure Ukraine is worried about that. There's obviously also the potential of maybe Kamala Harris. She's supposed to be the Democratic nominee most likely, and she may be end up taking over in the White House too. Who knows? And as far as I know, I think she's very supportive of Ukraine, and maybe this war might continue if she ends up getting in. But yeah, there's a couple things that I want to go over here today. This was one of them right here. This is on X from Roman Sheremetyev. And he says Putin is running out of soldiers to incentivize new cannon fodder. Russia's increased the compensation to new recruits to 1.9 million rubles. That's almost 1,000% increase compared to what was offered 2 years ago. The evidence is mounting. So according to him, he's stating that it was 1,000% increase compared to what was being offered to the soldiers 2 years ago. Again, this could mean a couple different things. Doesn't necessarily mean they're running out of soldiers. Could it mean that? Yes, maybe. But I think it could also mean that they're just trying to incentivize heavily, considering that maybe they feel like they're coming to the end of this war and they want to make maybe a final push into Ukraine is the only other reason I could think of that they would be so desperate, make desperate maneuvers to offer so much money. Because obviously money, talks. Okay, it means a lot. So if they're offering a lot of money, there's obviously a big reason behind it. But that's what he was stating. So yeah, also there's some information about Dmytro Kuleba, the foreign minister of Ukraine. That's this article right here. And it says Ukraine tells China it is open to talks if Moscow acts in good faith. And some of the things he was stating here was he said that Kiev is ready to engage the Russian side in the negotiation process at a certain stage when Russia is ready to negotiate in good faith, but emphasized that no such readiness is currently observed on the Russian side, his ministry said in a statement. So he's basically saying that he doesn't see any indication that Russia is ready to negotiate. Okay, and it says right here, Ukraine's top diplomat told China's foreign minister at talks in the southern city of Guangzhou on Wednesday that Kiev was open to talks with Russia if Moscow was prepared to negotiate in good faith, something he said he saw no evidence of for now. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to negotiate anytime soon, but I know that Vladimir Zelensky is really trying to push for an end to this war as soon as possible. And I guess he's really hoping that sometime in November they might be holding another peace summit. And then maybe at that time the Russians can potentially join or send some sort of delegation. I don't think it would be Vladimir Putin because obviously he's got arrest warrants out for him. But maybe some sort of Russian delegation can show up and try to negotiate and end this war. But obviously, there's no sign of that right now. And in the meantime, Ukraine and Russia have been continuously pounding each other, destroying each other's electricity grids, oil facilities, things like that. We've been reporting on a lot of that lately. So I just want to go over this briefly as well on Yahoo News, originally from Insider. Russia offering a $22,000 bonus to new military recruits, signaling its desperation to offset losses in Ukraine. And this is just coming out today, July 24th, 2024. And it says here, Russian authorities are offering a $22,000 payment to Moscow residents, signaling signing up to join the military in a new attempt to offset high rates of deaths and injuries among soldiers in Ukraine. The Moscow City Administration said new recruits who sign a contract with the Russian Defense Ministry will receive a bonus of 1.9 million rubles, or about $22,000. The announcement said that in combination with monthly salary and other benefits, servicemen from the Russian capital stand to make about 5.2 million rubles in their first year of service. So that's quite a bit of money for them. UK military intelligence said in May that 1,200 Russian troops were being killed or wounded daily. That is the highest number since the war began in February 2022. It comes as Russia sends waves of troops into head-on attacks on Ukrainian positions that have been dubbed meat assaults. The attacks intensified earlier this year as Russia sought to drive back Ukrainian forces in the Kharkiv region, with reports saying they were often launched for only incremental gains. Russia is currently trying to replenish its military numbers in Ukraine with lucrative contracts like that offered in Moscow, and also by recruiting prisoners and hiring mercenaries. Russia's President Vladimir Putin in December issued a decree ordering the military to boost its numbers by about 170,000, increasing its troop numbers to 1.2 million. So obviously they are trying to increase their troop numbers to well over 1 million. We've been hearing that for at least a year now. But who knows why they're really doing this? Most likely it's just incentive to get people to join, because maybe they're also having issues getting people to join. Maybe there's a lot of people that are against this war, and maybe they don't want to join it. They obviously don't want to go over there and risk their life. And maybe it's just the money doesn't matter enough to them, and maybe they don't want to do it. But there's a couple things that I want to talk about now as well. Okay, we'll talk about the Russian economy a little bit, and then I'm also going to be talking a little bit as well about some of their infrastructure that's been attacked lately, or at least having technical issues. And then also, because we're talking about their economy, we've got like a report to go over as well, that apparently there's a region of Ukraine that is suffering with water right now. They don't have water, and they're being told by the authorities in their city, or where they're living at, that they cannot basically get any water. They don't have the money to do this. So very interesting, because if Russia's got all this money to give to these soldiers to fight in Ukraine, why don't they have money for their own citizens? It's very interesting. So I want to show you some of this stuff here. This is from Anton Gerashenko on X. There is no extra money. At a meeting with the head of the accounts chamber, Putin said there is no extra money, so financial discipline must be scrupulously monitored. Putin appointed the son of his closest associate and confidant Yuri Kovalchuk to head the accounts chamber. At the first official meeting after his appointment, Putin declared Russia has revenues but no money, neither spare nor reserve money. Therefore, it is necessary to tighten inspections. Despite the lack of money and equipment, Russia continues to build military bases, power plants, and social facilities abroad. Maintaining external greatness is compensated by internal devastation in the country's regions. Kind of sounds interesting, sort of like kind of what we're seeing in the United States, I have to say, to be honest, is that there's so much focus going on outside of the country and not so much on the inside. So the people on the inside are suffering, while there's all these great achievements happening outside the country that benefit a lot of other people, or maybe just the people at the very top. But we've got a 20-second clip here of him talking about this, that there's basically no money, no extra money in the country. So just take a look.
Но лишних денег нет. Поэтому я очень рассчитываю на то, что самым внимательным образом будете следить за финансовой дисциплиной, но уж тем более не пропустите ничего, что называется криминалом. Прямая связь у нас есть. В наиболее острых случаях прямо без всякого стеснения снимайте трубку и мне звоните. Но лишних денег нет.
So this seems a little scary. I mean, look at this part right here. But there's no extra money. Therefore, I am counting on you to monitor financial discipline with the utmost care. And then he says here too, and certainly not to miss anything criminal, we have a direct line of communication. So he's saying, like, search for everything that we can possibly think of to try to come up with all of this money, because clearly it looks like Russia's economy is taking a hit here as well. I mean, what have we been reporting? We've been reporting attack after attack after attack on oil depots, oil refineries. That's got to be taking a massive hit. And then think about the amount of money that is being spent on this war in Ukraine. Is absolutely insane. I mean, just in one day, we just reported the other day of 2 Iskander missiles being fired. That's $6 million worth of missiles just to take out a building in Ukraine that potentially had 50,000 or 50 Western instructors, excuse me, inside of it. We did a whole report on that yesterday. So just the amount of money that is being spent on this war. And then think about all the aircraft. There was just a Russian Su-25 that supposedly got shot down just the other day as well. So, you know, Russia's, whether they're winning this war or they're not winning this war, they're obviously spending a lot of money. And the Russian economy is not extremely big, okay? It's, as far as I know, not much bigger than like the Canadian economy from what I've heard. So, obviously, this has got to be making some sort of direct impact on their economy at some point, and maybe this is kind of where Russia's at right now, okay? And it looks like they're dumping all their money into their military and kind of leaving everybody else on the back burner is kind of how it's appearing right now. Take a look at this as well from Igor Sushko. Russia, Gazprom's thermal power plant TPP-27 went through an emergency shutdown in Mytishi due to technical problems, resulting in blackouts in Moscow and the surrounding region. So we heard something about this not too long ago as well. I don't know if this is the exact power plant that was reported just in the last couple weeks, but we heard this same exact story of another power plant that was being basically taken offline due to some sort of technical failures as well. Now we're hearing this once again. So is Russia just unable to even manage their nuclear power plants now because maybe they can't get the supplies that they need? We know that Russia is under heavy sanctions as well. So maybe these sanctions are having a lagging effect, who knows, and starting to heavily impact the Russian economy. And maybe it didn't do so much in the beginning, but maybe it's starting to do more damage now. Is kind of what, at least what I'm starting to see. Is that a potential? Yes, maybe. But regardless, we're seeing a lot of scary signs coming out from Russia that they're definitely having issues with money over here. And take a look at this as well, because this is a big sign that they definitely are. This is from the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and it says, "We will simply die from lack of water, both cattle and people. Residents of Russia's Stavropol region have been denied water supplies because there is no money for it. They appealed to Putin." So I guess they were calling for Putin to help them out because they don't even have water here in this city or town or wherever these people are living in Russia, and they're pleading to get some help when they basically are being told they can't get any help because there's no money. So take a look at this.
Уважаемый Владимир Владимирович, обращаются к вам жители поселка Хлебный Апанасенковского района Ставропольского края. У нас в кранах нет воды 2 недели.
Ну нет воды вообще нигде. Резервной воды, которая должна при случае пожара, мы все просто сгорим.
Обращались в водоканал. Нам ответ. Все устарело, нет финансирования.
Есть подвоз такой питьевой воды, но она очень мутная, она грязная и она воняет хлоркой. Есть техническая, но техническая вода, и дают его всего по 200 литров, а питьевой по 50. И это очень мало. А технической не хватает даже для управки хозяйства. И вода в колодцах закончилась уже, ее негде просто взять. Как нам выживать при этом? Что нам делать? Скажите, пожалуйста.
Почему нас, людей, в таких засушливых районах оставили на вымирание? Неужели никому до нас нет дела? Почему допустили до этого? Привезли воду, которую невозможно пить, она коричневая, воняет. Вопрос задали, вода питьевая? Да. Кто ее будет, воду эту пить? Никто. Ни детей помыть, ни есть приготовить, ни скупаться, ни постираться.
Нам дышать от жары нечем, а нас еще лишили и воды.
All right, so as we can see here, clearly these people do not have any water where they're living, and they're pleading to Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, to tell him to fix this issue, and obviously they don't have money to even solve this problem as well, that they're even being told by authorities in their area that they don't even have the funds to get water, okay? So clearly there is people that are struggling here in Russia that don't even have basic necessities while all this money is going to the war in Ukraine. So absolutely insane. That's why I wanted to show you some of these details today. But you let me know what you think down below. Do you think the Russian economy is suffering heavily right now? Do you think at some point it's going to take a direct blow and maybe it's going to implode? Is something going to happen in Russia? Obviously, Russian authorities, I don't think they would want to alarm people if this really was the case. But I thought it was very interesting with that video that we went over with Vladimir Putin, where he was basically stating that there's no extra funds, okay? But yet at the same time, we're hearing this report here that 1.9 million rubles is being offered in compensation to the troops. So That's why I say that, Russia and Ukraine, both sides here are so heavily involved in this war. I know that Ukraine is probably pushing for peace more than anything right now because we know they're very low on troops. I don't think they can continue to fight this war forever anyway. But the Russians, clearly, they can continue to get troops, and really it's just a matter of, do they have the money to fund this war and keep it going? So you let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.